Welcome back to the Final Fantasy VII. That sad music tells its own story.
These are the inner thoughts of strife. We are familiar
faces.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong franchise. This is not Gears of War.
So, yeah, let's do a recap of the last 2 days of my life. I fought a giant air conditioner, fell to what looked to be my death, got sort of resuscitated by a flower girl who seems nice but also talks to flowers here and there, nearly killed a redhead, and then in turn nearly got killed by said redhead. I had to sacrifice my dignity, though I will admit I did look pretty good in that dress. Then I had to practically whore myself out as a bride, and there are now pictures that will forever remind me of that haunting night of my life. I fought a literal demon of a hell house, bums off the street, I was dropped into a sewer, attacked by a sewer monster, and even worse...
I actually like Barrett's performance.
And even worse, I had to see two people who I've regrettably grown close to die before my very eyes. It's just
First
a great day.
Barrett, yeah.
It's weird, you know, while technically in the original it was even more sad because, you know, practically everyone who wasn't the main character or Marlene was dead, here they convey it a lot more harshly.
Someone give him a hug, please.
It helps their spoken dialogue.
Hey, I know... Wait.
I won't do it.
Wait. Okay. I've seen Machina Bridge. I know how this goes. Tifa, cheer Barrett up by telling him about Cloud cross-dressing.
I don't think that's gonna cheer him up.
Hey, it worked in the Abridged series.
But Aerith has all the pictures and
Barrett,
she's not here
that's
right
responsibility dodging.
It really is a nasty...
She's doing the Arthur fist clenching.
It really is something we have to ask ourselves. How much of this... Well, okay, yeah, Shinra were definitely the ones who dropped the plate.
Damn, Barrett's hand is like 10 times the size of Tifa's hand.
Once again, the proportion reflects the artwork. The hand is bigger than his head, if you pay attention to it.
It really does bring us to having to ask the question, though. Should Avalanche have pushed Shinra to this point? Like, yes.
I still argue yes. They're terrorists, they kill people, but they actually have a decent good reason to do so. And Shinra is so despicable that they deserve anything to pull it, at least from my perspective. But I'm not a saint.
Again, it's a pretty good story that can raise up a moral question here. Personally, though, I do agree with you, but I could see, you know, people sparking many a cheerful debate about this.
That's her.
This is also something.
Joe, there's plenty about this. There's plenty about this game that can encourage a spirited debate.
This was also touched upon already in.
That's what art should do to begin with.
This was already explored in Final Fantasy 6, in some kind of, you know, the. Hold on, actually, this is a bit hilariously important. Cloud.
Hey, where you going?
Yeah, as you'll recall in the original game, this is where
Cloud needs some time to reflect.
Yeah.
If a piece of art is not causing this, is not sparking discussion, then it's a pointless waste of time. It means that the art is not saying anything. It's not trying to make any kind of point.
At least for that time, some of them actually managed to spark discussions, but way later down the line for some reason.
Yeah, that reminds me a little bit about a character's social arc in Persona 5. You know, that's about art and that.
Yeah, of course.
Not wholly about art, but still.
This one, kind of like Sonic, in a way. Like Final Fantasy 7, you can kind of argue it also has the nature versus technology kind of angle in a lot of ways.
Oh boy, Shinra soldiers. Yeah,
soldiers that were the.
Even they can't believe that it came to this.
Pretty much, but no, like I said, it was briefly touched upon in Final Fantasy 6. The idea that the cartoonishly evil Empire can be actually more deadly when it just appeared. Keep in mind, the Final Fantasy series was no strange in having both guys pulling shock acts. Already in 2 it starts with mass bombings and entire cities being destroyed in universe, mind you. But 6 already was the one that started to put things out, and this one was the one that ultimately reinforced so early in the game, mind you. Like, once again, keep in the perspective of the original, this is between 3 and 5 hours in, relatively almost like the prologue when you get down to it.
And these signs can go to hell as well.
Oh.
Shinra made those signs. It was their fault.
Okay.
That's what.
Oh, here we go.
Aerith's house. It's in the Sector 5 slums.
And that's where Marlene is.
Where we hope she is.
Well,
Tell me she is. Give me something to hang on.
well, Barry, don't have any other ideas. Well, Barry, there aren't any other ideas.
I won't blame you for it, I swear.
Wow.
See, he's that desperate.
Who am I kidding? I'd probably try.
Well, this is
Oh,
Barrett.
This is basically the moment where Barrett opens up completely to Cloud. You can definitely see the transition happening under
It was hinted at around the point after we defeated Airbuster where Barrett does that whole, I was wrong about you.
Meant to be the original Stuart.
Yeah, well, it depends. Well, that's more so at the end of chapter 14. It depends. It depends. Like, if you actually manage to have literally no shipping alignment at all, you will be Barrett, who has a heart-to-heart discussion with at the beginning of chapter 14.
Oh, crap.
Oh, Sephiroth, haven't heard from you much this game.
That's
yeah,
fine.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
some of,
flashback to what happens in
The
Nibelheim.
basement library.
yeah, some of the lines Sephiroth has can I think that would kind of suit a Dark Superman story or something.
Well,
like I mentioned, actually it plays in this case, but like I said, with in a couple of parts ago, Sephiroth was engineered to be the Superman of this world. Also, pay attention, this particular Sephiroth cannot be seen by the others, meaning that it's Cloud imagining it. It's actually important for later.
Well, yeah,
Lodi coming.
This is because of the
His hallucinations.
Not just that, you can also argue it's because of the Genova cells in his body, of course.
Well,
this is all part of the calling to reunion and shit.
actually,
Remember, he kind of had this kind of flash, even though not as much as detail. He also had this flash in the original game.
Yeah, I know that.
No, I was saying Jova. Barrett, where are you going?
Oh,
He's in a hurry to see Marlene, don't you know?
Gotta go fast.
Well, but yeah, but yeah, Dwebs. That's why so many people love that Stephen Martin clip from Planes, Trains, and Automobile. Here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the
looky
audience.
here, Wall Market.
Yeah, we actually have to pass from it, but since the Shira is patrolling the place, it's best not to explore it.
Their jobs, probably. Just focus on seeing Marlene again.
We don't really need to go back to Wall Market. I have bad memories of this place. Good, but...
Yeah.
That's why Aaron...
hang on. What does this guy have to say?
Andrea.
Hey, Andrea.
Did you find what you were looking for? Thanks to you, I did.
Aww.
Good. Now never let it go.
Oh my.
I like this guy.
Honestly, like I said, all three of the lieutenants introduced in this remake are actually pretty great as characters. Chocobill may be the weakest of them, but even he holds it up.
How bad is it here?
Compared to Sector 7, we're doing fine. But that's hardly an accomplishment.
Oh.
All right, thank you very much for the update, Madam M. Goodbye.
She didn't yell at you, that's a plus.
Well, it was not exactly the right time, but...
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah, I know what you guys said at the last part, that, they're not really dead, they're just kind of unconscious. I find it hard to believe that someone would survive a grenade being blown up.
But don't you see, Dwebs? They didn't really die, they just returned to the planet. Well, that's basically. Remember, Dwebs, one of the big inspirations for Sakaguchi when creating this story was after the fact that his mom had passed away recently. So the whole people don't actually die; they just become part of the planet. It was kind of his own personal way of coping.
Oh, I've got a star pendant.
You know, that also gets incorporated even more with even more focus in the Spirits Within
We gotta go find the
Although sadly too much worse results.
I can also potentially view a deconstruction of it in 9, considering what happens at the end.
Ah, yes.
Right.
Don't worry, dudes. All will make sense when my playthrough of 9 comes through.
Alright, let's do some equipment changing. I know a bunch of people just got flattened like a pancake, but it's important to keep our equipment in check.
Look, we
True,
don't know.
this is fine.
For all we know, we could get jumped. Like, Shinra clearly have it out for us.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why Aaron with the last name that is incredibly hard to pronounce, says the creator of Dragon Prince, and like that's why he keeps saying that we should focus on making your characters interesting, not necessarily.
What to pick? Yeah, I'll just pick better defense.
But yes,
Nah, I can't do it.
But yes, I will. But yeah, I will admit, it is interesting how Sephiroth kind of showed up earlier, but then hasn't really shown up until much later going on. Okay.
But yeah, like I was saying, I will argue too that if you again the potential conversation, heart-to-heart conversation they have at the beginning of chapter 14. It will be the best open up moment for him, I will argue with Cloud.
True, but you already start seeing things here. That's what I meant.
Yeah. When it comes to him opening up, I'd say that starts like as soon as like the end of chapter 7, where again he admits that Cloud wasn't who he thought he was, and assuming that you don't get that scene anyway, quite possibly these are some of the better scenes you'll get, since if you don't get that in your playthrough.
My ears are still ringing from it.
Yeah, just like with the destruction of Mako Reactor number 1, everyone is freaking out too.
However, this time it doesn't seem to be everyone blaming Avalanche instead. Well, granted,
at least for the moment, we're just recovering for the shock right now. Fortunately, one of the characters that was in the novels, but we will see, I don't think in this part, but later on potentially, will do the job in telling what happened, supposedly.
Yeah. Bad thing happened, but you have to stay indoors, everybody, because
social distancing, please. Tifa, what are you doing?
Mingling, it seems.
She's not social distancing.
She's practicing for a Muslim.
Yeah, about anywhere Midgard being safe. You may want to get out of here because a few years later.
Again, even the people in Rocket Town are safer, and they have a gigantic, fuel-filled rocket pending on them, almost falling any minute.
I know, right? Also,
how fucked up is that?
Also, years later from now, this city is going to be the battlefield of 3 very weird silver-haired individuals. One of which can't even tell when his mother is in a safety deposit box literally right next to him.
It's Advent Children, Shiro. It has a weird context.
Not gonna lie, that was one of the...
wasn't original?
not gonna lie, that was one of the few scenes I actually truly dig from Advent Children.
Which version was it?
Either, actually.
Either.
The complete version focus on reworking some pre-existing scenes, like to expand them a bit, add the details to make them more polished, like maybe have a character move from right instead of left. Relatively minor things. The only real major added scene mostly involves Reino and Rude, in order to give a bit more comedy.
So, Tio, for a bit of a guessing game, if they were to remake Advent Children, do you think it would be either Well, let's talk about it. Okay, if they potentially are remaking the whole compilation and whatnot, do you think that they would remake Advent Children as A, a completely new movie, B, its own game, so it could probably have a better fleshed out story, or C, as a part of this remake, in a sense
part
where
of this remake as a short part. I want to save these bigger talks for the final, for my final thoughts and all, but I'll just say this. The team, as discussed with the Ultimania guide, the team in an interview how many parts do they want to, and how lengthy they want to be, and then on that point we're still very uncertain. Nomura has told that, Nomura himself has told that if a part is short enough, they can release obviously beforehand. But they want to find a good balance. If it was for him, he will release them as soon as possible, which means they will be shorter, which will fit what happens in Advent Children. They don't do that much. They only fight a couple of people, and that's it. Anyway, mention more later. Barrett, social skills.
He's a worried father.
Well, yeah, I know, but still, there's a reason to stand the door. I mean, what if you were holding a gun or something?
He kind of is holding a gun.
I meant Elmira.
She was wearing, pink. She was wearing a pink dress today.
Upstairs.
She
said she's sleeping.
Yeah, be a good dad.
Oh, calm down, Barrett.
She's
I know it's a horrible
Marlene.
situation, but you have to keep a cool head.
Let's go look in on her.
Marlene's had a rough day. Oh.
Keep it down. Don't wake her.
Get Cloud.
Maybe you should join your friend upstairs.
Well, this is awkward.
Very.
Yeah, seeing as how the last time I saw her, she kind of wanted me never to see her daughter again, and now her daughter may be kidnapped.
Didn't say anything, Tifa.
Yeah, Tifa's kind of rude.
Shinra has my daughter now.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm the one who asked her to go get Marlene. We'd only just met, but she was so kind and helpful.
And she had a knack for teleporting.
Took advantage of her.
It's not your fault. It was only a matter of time before she ended up back there.
So yeah, now we're going to get a bit of a backstory into how Aerith got to where she is right now.
And while Maria was so protective.
She must trust you all a great deal. Yes, Aerith is an ancient. Probably the last one living.
Technically she's half Cetra, but that's a technicality.
She's not my daughter.
Oh. Hold on.
Not by blood, I mean. If that's what you were wondering.
Yeah, very good. That's actually a nice bit of a touch for Barrett, since, he's in a similar situation with Marlene.
Yeah.
Well, and put some seeds into this backstory with Dying too.
To fight on the front lines. But then I received a letter saying he'd be home for a bit. So when the day came, I went to the station to meet him.
We actually had a younger mother for Myra. In the original, we just reused the same one.
He didn't come.
Keep in mind, not many years have passed, like 10 at most from this moment. So Elmira, the age has taken a toll on Elmira, probably the stress too.
And that's how I met her. And her mother.
Ifalna, there you go. She doesn't have a voice actress. Her speaking role is basically Ifalna telling what she said, so we don't know who she's gonna voice by at the moment.
It's interesting now that we have a better idea of what topsiders actually are in this context.
Those were her mother's dying words.
Oh. How many sad remixes of everything do we need to have? And the answer from Amazu was yes.
They have enough for a whole album of their own.
Yeah, I can imagine it now. Well, what if I can imagine Nomura going to Hamazu and them saying, "Right, I need you to make 50 sad remixes of Aerith's theme."
And I'll pick like 20 of them to use.
The other 30 we can put on the album.
You know, Dead Mothers seem to be a running theme with a lot of the party in 7 now that I think about it.
Considering Hamazu is Toriyama's go-to composer, I wouldn't be surprised if it was both Hamazu who suggested him for the role, and he's probably the one most likely telling Hamazu any kind of directions on what to do. Probably.
When I asked if she meant one in the sky, she said no. This one, right here. I mean, what can you say to that?
You're crazy?
That's a child's rule. You can't do that.
Right.
Sensitive.
Joe, but that's a statement I would make.
Okay,
Joe was a dick to children.
If I had to be extremely, and I mean extremely nitpicky, I'm a bit sad that we didn't replicate the effect that we used in the original game, where she's talking to the others, but when it feels like she's hearing Aerith, and then the camera pans up and it transitions into the flashback. But again, it's extremely minor nitpicking, so feel free to ignore it.
I didn't believe her, of course. And then, a few days later, I received a letter saying my husband had been killed in action.
What kind of action, though? That's what I wonder. I mean,
it was the war against Wutai, but
he was in the military.
We actually never know. Keep in mind, she did receive a letter when he was supposed to come back.
Well,
so
I mean,
actually, go on, sorry.
Well, Shinra's pretty shifty. I mean, who knows what happened?
They could have potentially used him as a guinea pig. I'd saying. Yeah, that's also another thing. Tseng hasn't aged at all. Like,
Jesus.
And at least in Crisis Core, they show him with actually a younger look, but for this one, nope. He's been the same.
Does he drink some sort of... Does he use the Marco and drink it to keep himself youthful?
Hey, anything's possible.
It's a plot point that the Turks have managed to be super skilled without actual Mako enhancements.
Some believe the Promised Land to be a myth. Others...
Personally, I don't give a fuck because I just do my job.
But we take the words of the scriptures at face value and believe it to be quite real.
That's pretty dangerous.
Which is why Shinra would like very much...
They are dangerous.
How fucking ironic is that, a mega corporation bent on technological advancement believes a very, strict religious script?
It's kind of like Hitler in the case. He talked a big game, but he was very superstitious.
That man knew exactly who Aerith was, where she'd come from, and what she could do.
So I told him to fuck off.
Yeah, got the fuck on my property.
They didn't just doesn't sound like the Turks I know.
She had to come willingly, otherwise it wouldn't work, they said. That's why even if they did take her away.
Yeah, that's the thing. They were so confident that Aerith wouldn't have her run away that they could just leave her be and study her from here.
You're not planning anything, are you? Don't make things worse than they already
So yeah, in the original, the characters pretty much at this point decides to charging guns blazing towards the Shinra HQ, but here they need some time to reflect. Which is where some of the more original chapters start showing up.
Tifa, they dropped a plate onto your hometown.
Someone in the team needs to be optimistic, Joe Dweebs.
And to be fair, that was when they were doing with Avalanche. For all we know, what they want with Aerith is something different. Then again, anyone who's played the original knows that they want to mate Aerith with Red 13.
Like checking up on the bar.
Ew.
Yeah. Hojo was
yeah,
messed up.
First thing first, let's go back to the ruins and check how things are exactly, if anything survived.
Now this is a change I'm very much welcome to, because, it is nice to reflect on, hey, if you got to build up time so that, the first part being Midgar feels like it's worthy of its own game, by all means, have a good reflection on what is effectively the worst night of Sector 7's being.
Well, it allows them to also, get a proper insight into what exactly makes the discussion later with Elmira when they finally go after more natural, because they actually have more reasons to come to an agreement this time. So it actually does have a good purpose for it.
See you next time.
See ya.
Yeah.